Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Post Plant. Today, we're going to have some special guests with us from across the ocean, basically, from us at least. So, we have some casters and some admin from the SEA or the APAC region going to tell us a little bit about their region so that we can all be a bit more informed on what's going to happen because the APAC tournament is up and coming. And so we just want to know what's going on in the region, what's been happening, and what is there to expect. So we have three of them here with us today. We have Quack, Kim, and Xea. So welcome.
Thank you.
Hi.
So do you mind giving each of you just giving a short introduction about who you are and what your relation is to the Valorant scene?
I guess I'll start.
Mhm.
Yep. I'm Quack. I'm a caster. I'm also an awkward duck. That's about it. I cast for FSL every now and then.
I guess that's my cue, right? Hi. Hello, my name is Xea. In short, I too am also a caster for Valorant, specifically for FSL as well. And yeah, I am a potato. Hello.
Hi, my name is Kim, and I am the esports operations lead for FSL, um, which is we are a tournament organizer based in Singapore, and we run tournaments for women across Southeast Asia and Asia for multiple titles, which includes Valorant.
Okay, well,
Yep.
welcome, and thank you again for taking the time to speak with us. That was actually one of my questions. Like, if you could describe kind of what FSL is, you did, but if you could also elaborate, what got you all into the Game Changers scene, and kind of what events have you been able to put on for women in your region?
A pretty long story, actually.
Oh, well, okay.
FSL was created about 8 to 10 years ago, 8 years ago, for Dota 2 by our CEO, Furryfish. Um, we used to compete competitively in Dota 2 and Dota back in the days as a full women's squad. And she realized that there weren't enough opportunities or platform for us to really compete and practice. So she created this tournament, this safe zone for girls in Southeast Asia to compete in Dota 2 and Dota back in the days. So that's how it started. And it was a community ran program with volunteers and admins. And so it's not company. So we only just got investors and we were incorporated about, I think it's almost been 3 years now, 3.5. And then we expanded to run tournaments for more titles and yeah. So basically, what FSL we've been trying to do is to create a safe platform, and we strongly believe that opportunities for women to compete should be consistent, because there are a lot of women tournaments that has been happening over the years, but they have always been like an annual thing. It's not something that you see monthly. So the girls, they don't actually get to practice on in a very structured manner. So we are trying to encourage the girls to get into the competitive scene with the right mindset that it's actually an ongoing process instead of a yearly oh, the tournament's coming up, let's form a team like 3 months before, and then let's practice then. So yeah, and we've been doing good. We've seen large amount of women, an increase in the number of women competing in our tournaments, especially for Valorant. So we started running monthly tournaments for Valorant when the game was launched. Uh, and I remember seeing NA, I think it was FTW. They ran
Yeah.
they worked with Riot was it First Strike or Ignition? One of those. And they had the support of Riot NA. And I was blown away by that, because it's very rare that we get to see a publisher support a women's tournament officially on all their channels and marketing and PR. So I reached out to we reached out to Riot Asia, Southeast Asia, and wanted to see if we could work something out. But it was not until about 5 or 6 months later that they came to us, and we were already in the middle of our FSL circuit. So that's when we kind of said, yeah, that's cool. Let's work together and be a part of Game Changers, and to make it bigger and hopefully more successful. So that happened last year, and yeah, we're happy that we're able to continue and build on what we've been doing this year. So yeah.
That's amazing. So definitely what you're saying about the consistency of events rather than a one-time thing. I think that's important, because that's what I hear from players as well, just wanting more opportunities to compete and get that experience. One thing that I saw you all start recently was a mentorship program. So not only are you investing in players, but talent as well. Could you kind of touch on the premise behind that, and maybe just share a little bit about that new program?
Yeah. So we kind of got feedback from last year, and the mentorship programs, actually, it is a supplement to the Game Changers Academy program that we are running this year as well, on top of the official tournaments. We noticed that there are a lot of talents or aspiring casters who is looking for opportunities to learn and practice, but they don't really get that. I mean, to be honest, it's quite a saturated market, and to jump from a new caster to someone who is able to be on broadcast is quite a huge leap, to be honest. So we're trying to bridge that gap, or to provide people who really wants it, but they don't have the connections or the resources to be able to do so. So that's what we're trying to do with the mentorship program this year. Well, and also we would really like to have like Asia Southeast Asian representation on the global stage of our broadcast as well. So yeah, that's something that I'm sure that all of us are working towards too. Yeah. Mm.
Right. That sounds amazing. And then also for on the player side, what kind of players are you looking for to apply to your mentorship program?
Mm, I think similar. It's pretty similar to the talents. So basically, girls who really want to improve, but they don't know how. They don't know anybody. Because personally, I went through that phase, because I used to compete as well. So there was this phase where I felt kind of stuck, and I was fortunate enough to be able to have the acquaintance or have friends who are in the pro scene. So it was not very hard for me to learn from them, and they would just give me tips and practice with me. So it's easier for me to learn and to improve when I'm always in the company of pro players. But I believe that majority of the new players out there, they do not have such a privilege. So we would like to be able to at least provide them this opportunity, or at least some resources to help them make the journey kind of easier, or give them the necessary resources to really improve. So things like, how do you even learn from watching replays? To be honest, I don't think many people know that. They just watch the game. They don't know what to look out for. They don't know that you should be viewing the replay in a certain manner. So these are the things that doesn't occur to just casual player, or someone who's just starting out. So yeah, that's what we're trying to do, just to help them. So I think we're looking at maybe gold, platinum players below gold and platinum, who are like just hard stuck at that level, and they don't really know how to overcome that hurdle. Mm.
Hey, no, that's so interesting. We don't have too many mentorship programs. Did you say something, Zia?
Not
No?
really.
Oh, okay. I heard a voice in my. I just was making sure someone wasn't saying anything. But yeah, that's amazing. We don't have too many mentorship opportunities in that space. So you all are leading the charge in developing something like that.
It's our first time running something like this as well, so we're quite we're excited but a little bit anxious. So we just hope that everything turns out well, and we are working closely with the mentors to really make it a very inclusive and a program that's malleable. So we're still learning. So yeah.
Mhm. And also, I didn't ask this initially, but for those of us who don't know, what makes up your region? So I know that in like the main pro circuit, there's like Thailand and like those are different regions. But could you kind of share what what the makeup of SEA is?
So I mean specific for Valorant because we are here. Uh, we we were Game Changers Southeast Asia last year, but this year I think Southeast Asia has expanded to APAC. So this year I think it's all of APAC excluding Japan, Korea, and China. So that includes South Asia, Oceania, uh, where else? Taiwan, where, yeah, and Southeast Asia is normally like Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia. Yep. So I think that's about it. Am I missing out any country? I hope I'm not.
Philippines.
Oh, right, Philippines. Sorry. Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Okay.
the Philippines. They're actually we have
Dude.
I think more than half, about half of our participants are from the Philippines. Yeah, yeah.
Got
I don't
it.
know why I forgot that. Sorry.
You just assume you thought of it because they were like a good chunk of them.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. And so you mentioned the transition from SEA to APAC this year. Uh, well, going back to SEA to kind of fill us in on what's been happening so far, um, do you mind sharing with us kind of the big takeaways from the tournament last year? Like, you don't have to just specifically talk about the elite. You can talk about whatever you think would best summarize how SEA went last year. And this is to anyone.
Alter Celeste.
Yeah. I think that it's pretty much similar to Eddie, that there was one dominant team, but I I would think that that's because the scene is still very new, and there a lot of players are still trying to play catch up. So we're expecting a lot more competition this year, especially with
Yeah.
the announcement of Worlds.
Mm.
Yeah. So last year was just Alter Ego Celeste just being very
The year
dominant.
of the
Yeah.
Yeah, similar
Yeah.
to how Cloud9 what it was, and everyone's just waiting for someone to beat them. uh, but
Everyone.
yeah, yeah. But it was nice to see how the teams improved over the circuit, because we our tournaments are being held in a different format than
System.
EMEA or NA. So for EMEA and NA, you guys have series, which are like tournaments that do not have connections with each other. But for us, we are running a circuit style tournament that runs about 8 to 9 months long. So players would participate in the circuit. At the first stage, they would gain points on the leaderboard based on the tournament, on the rankings in each tournament, and they are placed on the leaderboard. And hopefully that encourages consistency in roster and in participating tournaments as well. And then they get qualified through the leaderboard and other one-off tournaments, like maybe something like Last Chance and stuff like that. And then we have the final stage, which is elite, which normally happens about September, October. Yeah. So yeah, that's one major difference, and we are continuing that this year. So I hope to be able to see more teams in the mid tier kind of rise up. It's nice to see them improve like month after month. So yeah.
Until you
Mm.
have Alter Ego Celeste and they just win every single open.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what happened last year.
Mhm.
Well, so you compared them to C9 White. What is the differential between the number one team and then the others? Like for us, I feel like Shopify Rebellion and kind of uh maybe like a 24 Haven, they can take some maps off of C9 White and they just continue to keep growing. So in SEA, uh what is that spread between first place and then the other like top 5 teams?
Ooh. That's tricky. I think quite honestly, it's roughly the same, but second and third place might constantly swap around. But at least that was for last year because this year there are some changes and we haven't seen anything yet. So I'm expecting things to be different coming next weekend, which is the first open, right, Kim?
Yeah.
Yeah, first open.
Yeah,
I'm on the roster and I
we are
don't
playing
remember.
groups. We are playing groups this weekend, and the playoffs will happen next week. So we're excited to see the progress that teams have been making the past 3 months when there were no tournaments at all. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
I guess I can say the difference of Alter Ego Celeste was, especially specifically last year with Elite, they literally dominated the whole brackets. And if I'm not mistaken, Kim, only Mad Army was able to take
Yeah,
only one map. And that was during the grand finals. So with that huge, really the maps that were taken away with only one, and then them just really sweeping out their upper brackets, I can really say that they really did deserve, or they really demonstrated why they were completely dominated the whole open for FSL last year. So that alone is very interesting feat for them, for FSL in general.
I think because all their players they have the fundamentals down. So when they practice, they probably just practice
maps and
strategy, maps, or comms, things like that. But a lot of the other teams they're still trying to play catch up on their fundamentals like aim and things like that. So it's still some ways to go, but I don't think that they are very far away. Mm.
Okay. Betty, if you could pull up the finals again, because I have a ton of questions if you don't mind. Kind of about this. Um, it's been a while, but you two did cast like the finals, and I caught a few rounds of it. So there was just some things that I had no context for that I just wanted some feedback on. Um, so someone had said there was no coach for Alter Ego. Is that true? And if so, is that still a thing?
I think it's half and half. They don't
Yeah,
they
it
didn't
was
have a
happening.
proper coach, right? But they
Mm, mm,
had
mm.
the coach for Alter Ego's male team,
Mm, mm,
and
mm.
he would kind of give, just some
The
general advice
tips.
here and there. Sleepy,
Yeah.
but he's also a caster now, so that's kind of
Yeah,
fun.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but no proper like coach to
Mm,
actually help them research on other teams and come
mm.
up with strats or anything. They just kind of did some stuff on their own.
Yeah, there were also moments wherein, especially in the grand finals, where they just kind of literally wing it. And I think for Alter Ego, they, knowing that they didn't really have like a coach for their female team, and had the aid of Sleepy, I think they kind of really focused more on their synergy as a team, that like especially in towards game when I was casting that from during that time, I just really felt that they kind of already know what to do at a certain scenario during their fights. So like having no specific coach already, they're already this you know threatening or really dominant. What more if they actually do? So
I think it's like Kim said, right? Because they've got their fundamentals down, so they could try anything, and they did try anything. There was like one of the tournaments where they just, I think they talked to their in-game leader, Tarathiel, and they were just like, "Oh, do you want to try like a weird composition? I kind of want to try running 3 sentinels, no duelists, just 3 sentinels." And she was
Wow.
like, "Yeah, let's give it a shot. See how it goes." And they did it, and it works. Playing best of threes, no problem. It's just 2-0 everything. It's kind of insane how they're able to pull things off like that. So it's quite crazy. But coming this year, I think some things are changing. I'm not sure if they have a coach in. Maybe I don't know if Kim knows. Oh, they still don't have a coach. So
Mhm.
yeah, let's see what happens.
Sentinels made it this far without much coaching, so yeah,
Maybe.
it's
I mean, Shazam was kind of their coach. Now they have a coach.
it worked out. That's so interesting though. Um, Another thing that caught my eye was Ayumi was on the op as like a killjoy, which I was like, that's a new one, but it worked. It worked very well. So since I only watched that like series, I was wondering, is that a common thing
For
for
them,
her
yes.
to do?
For
Okay,
them.
She's their resident op user. So
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
So
Mm.
like stuff like that. Let's say let me figure out how to word this, I guess. There's a lot of things that we could deem weird or whatever, depending on, what region we watch. Like there might be things we're not used to, but you say that stuff like that is normal for them. Is there like anything that you might see as weird that NA does, or that, we might see as weird that APAC or SEA does?
I don't think so.
I don't think so as well. Cause yeah, Quack, you
Sorry.
first.
Yeah, I'm also trying to think about this. Like, I don't. I'll be honest. I don't watch too much of NA or EMEA Game Changers, but from what I have seen, it's still. I guess it's kind of what like we all try to model after the current meta,
Mm.
the fact that Chamber's been picked a little bit more, things like that. It seems like that seems to be the norm. But
Yeah.
it's like what Dubstep from Team Secret says. I think in one of his like there was a screenshot. NA's more aggressive. EU might be a little bit more controlled. Am I allowed to
Mhm.
curse on this podcast? SEA
Go
has
ahead.
whatever the heck works, right? That's pretty much what SEA is. They try anything, and
Yeah.
if it works, like okay, this probably is it's what we should do. Let's just stick to it until
Mm.
it doesn't work. Then they might try to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, and I mean, for each and every region, they do have like their respective strengths and like the uniqueness of it all. And personally, I think I'll be honest as well. I as much as watch NA as much as see, but the thing that I've noticed is that it has also become a norm that each and every region also like follows what is quite of a trend in NA. But the difference is for at least for Southeast Asia, and I'm kind of like focusing on FSL here as well, is that they do have that certain knowledge, and then with that said like knowledge, they are able to retweak it or create a more out of the box type of strategy wherein sometimes it kind of leaves some players off guard because again with you guys' reaction on how like example how Ayumi does with the killjoy and an op, and it's more of regardless of agent, so long as like they were able to take the shots, I guess it's fine. And it's I guess also where C really shines.
I think
So
yeah, they're just that good. Excuse me, sorry.
no, I'm sorry. I was like, I didn't know what
It's
was
all
going on.
good. I just wanted to say like I think this year's going to be super exciting because I think especially for the female scene, the boys, they get to travel, they get to play worlds, champions, that kind of stuff. Female scene doesn't really get to do that, not so much. So until we see like SEA versus NA versus EMEA, there might be new developments that come as a result of that. So
Yeah.
right now, SEA, I guess, because there's that kind of power vacuum in a sense. First place, second place, there is a bit of a gap. So the ones at the top can kind of just run away with things sometimes. Killjoy and Op, it's not common, but because it works for them, they can stick to it. But what happens if they play against like C9 White? What happens if they play against G2 Gozen? And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Like they might have to try some things out. So I'm really excited to see what happens this year.
Yeah, and that's something I also wanted to talk about. Like all these weirdly like surprising spectacular plays that Alter Ego Celeste might make. Do you personally think, if you've seen C9 games, and if not, like just that approach, that surprise attack, whatever, those weird things you might not get in original games, do you think that might give Alter Ego Celeste a one up on these teams that are constantly doing the same thing and kind of a little bit more predictable?
I think it might be surprising, but I don't know how well it would work. I mean, there's a reason why you're gonna have duelists, initiators, and so on and so forth. If you bring up 3 Sentinels up against like C9 White, I think that might be tricky. Like, how do you entry
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
I think at the end of the day, it's still just going to go down with the fundamentals. Like these types of surprises or these types of unorthodox plays is going to be, I guess, quite handy in situational cases, or let's say if like the round needs it, or if they need it be. But at the end of all of that rounds, it's still a race of 13. So I guess it's still more on the teams just really focusing on, again, like in the very beginning of their aims and their similar tactics and how well they can really communicate with each other with each and every round of the game.
I just wanted to add.
Yeah, certainly.
So when you're at the top, um, the skill level for the teams at the top are more or less the same. Like you can only aim that well, right? You can't go any higher than 100%. So at the end of the day, when you're in the tournament, when you're in the grand finals, it really boils down to which team is better at adapting to your opponent. So yeah, sure, you can try to surprise your opponents, but that might only work for what, 2 or 3 rounds. If your opponent is able to adapt to you and you have nothing else, then you're just gonna lose. So yeah, so I think in a matchup for Worlds at the end of the year, and I'm expecting to see a lot of these women teams who have been so dominant in their own region really kind of step up, and because now they get a challenge instead of being so comfortable in their own region already. Now they get a challenge and they have to start thinking, oh damn, I need more than 3 pocket strats, or suddenly something happens in the game where you've never seen it before in your region. Oh damn it, how are we gonna deal with this? So yeah, I'm really excited to see how Alter Ego Celeste or whoever represents us adapt to this kind of situations in the game. Who knows, it might not be them, right? Control.
Yeah, might not be that. It really might
Mhm.
not.
Yeah.
Well, the other team that I kind of know about because I saw the post was X10. So if I'm not mistaken, they were kind of the majority of the Mad Army roster which competed in the finals. So I guess my question is, how do you think that team will perform like this time around? And then do you think they've adapted? Because another thing I heard was that they don't have an IGL. So how do you think they have adapted since the last time you all saw them?
We are not sure really. We haven't seen them play at all with this new roster. None
Yeah.
of us have seen them play, and I'm fairly certain that the no IGL thing would change with extends
We'll
involvement
find
at
out
all.
this weekend.
We'll find out this
Yeah,
weekend.
yeah. So I mean, I could ask them.
Yeah, you could.
I mean, whatever works right in a team. It's hard.
Mhm.
It's hard for us as someone who's watching and not involved in the team to really say that an
The no.
IGL would 100% help. But it's up to the team
Mhm.
and how the team synergizes and their dynamics. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What else? So for this next circuit, I'm curious, the FSL like Valorant Showdown, do you think that might have
Mm.
like provided any insights as to how this next phase could go?
Actually, yeah, just last week, right? We had like we had like the showdown. It showcased the individual talent of the players, and if, correct me if I'm wrong. Like they were like separated into teams respectively. So, but in terms of individual play, going back to the previous team, they kind of really shined into their respective teams as well, getting and really highlighting their gameplay as an individual player. In terms of this coming circuit, again, like what Quack and Kim said, it's very much exciting how they are going to perform as a team this time because they have been highlighted in towards this showdown. They've had their sprays, they've had their individual tactics on how to create these clutch plays as of course as what we're seeing right now. So yeah, I think Showdown kind of gave a little tease on how these players are going to perform upcoming the tournament.
Interesting. Okay. And also about this tournament, I saw in the registration that you are also having individual signups for. Is this for both the main circuit and academy, or just academy?
Everything. So this is something that FSL we've been doing since the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, there are a lot of girls who might be interested, but they are alone. They don't know any other girls. They don't know anybody else. They're just alone, and we want to make it more easier for them to participate and to meet new people. So we've been doing individual registrations since the beginning for all our titles. So yeah. So and what we do is we don't form the teams for them. We tried that and didn't really work that well. So what we do is after they sign up, we kind of share the list with them, and we encourage them to contact each other to get a few games together to see if it works out, and if it does, and they manage to find a team, form a team, they register again as a team. So yeah.
So that's what they're doing like right now, since I think registration is over, right? So they're like
Yeah.
forming their squad right now.
Yeah, so if they missed the registrations for this month, they can always continue to practice and find members and sign up for the next one, or even academy if they don't meet the rank requirements.
Okay. And academy is new this year, right? So what could you also talk about what is so we do have academy in NA, but could you talk about maybe from your perspective what does academy do differently than the main circuit?
So last year our tournaments did not have a restriction or requirement on rank to participate. So in our tournaments you see like a huge difference in skill level. Like there were teams that were radiant and there were teams that were gold. So we wanted to improve on that. So we created we ran tournaments similar to academy as like kind of a trial, and then officially launched academy as part of Game Changers this year. So this year for the circuit, for the official tournaments, there's a minimum rank of Diamond 1, and for academy that would be Plat 3 and below. So and it's kind of trying to provide better quality games for improvement for the girls who are starting out. Because I don't think you'll learn much if you get matched up against like an Immortal team or Radiant team. You just get 13-0 every month, and you don't really get much out of it. You don't get a lot to learn. So yeah, that's something that we're trying to change it up this year. And the one thing about the academy tournaments is it might not always be a team tournament. So we have not announced it yet, but I think our first academy tournament will be a solo player format thing. So it's something that we have been doing for other game titles. So we run something called so for other games we brand it FSL solos. So it's similar to how solo rank is in the game clients, just that we tunnel it just for women. So you get maybe like 50, 30 girls who are playing solo, and we kind of do a Swiss bracket for them, and we'll see which players are at the top at the end of the day or 2 days, something like that. So this kind of tournament kind of helps to encourage the girls to interact with other people instead of always playing with the same group. So they get to meet more girls. Hopefully, they get to meet their future teammates. So I think that will be a good starting point for our first academy tournament this year. Yeah.
Y'all are doing some really innovative stuff over there. That's so cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, Converse, unless you had anything, those
No.
are all the questions I had.
Yeah,
I guess just
I asked mine.
cool. So just as a closing, do you have any last things you want to say, or any expectations you have for the upcoming tournaments you want to share?
Yeah, I think things are definitely going to change.
Yeah.
I mean, some news is still being released. Some have yet to be released. I think just in the past few days, they announced that Alter Ego's IGL, Tarathiel, she's
Yeah.
kind of stepping down. So
Oh,
that's going to be weird. The entire team's going to shake up a little bit. They're bringing on some new players, some players that I don't think we've actually ever seen them before. Or maybe we have, but I just don't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, so
Very
here's the
long
thing that we
ago.
have. Very long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So brand new Alter Ego Celeste, no idea how they're gonna perform. But the Star Fraggers are still on that
Yeah.
team, so they might still be incredibly good. Enigma Galaxy, not too sure how that's gonna pan out, but I think they're sticking with the roster that they played from last year's Elite. So that they should still be pretty consistent unless they improved and changed on a lot of things. X Tanker is going to be interesting as well. I mean, of course, Jenny, she's like she's got a super big history playing the other tactical shooter that we're not supposed to talk about. um, and then that's a super fun thing to talk about as well, because they had like this mini rivalry with the South Asian team, and the South Asian team actually beat Alter Ego Celeste in a I don't know, it was Legion of Valkyries. I don't know if that's like sponsored by, I think it is Lenovo.
Oh.
Yeah. And Alter Ego Celeste, like it was one of the earlier brackets, not upper bracket final or anything, and they actually lost. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Could be a ping thing, could be the lack of terrestrial or something. I'm not sure, but things are definitely changing up. And just talking about Enigma Galaxy, there's also our local Singaporean slash Malaysian team. They have a new org. It hasn't been announced yet. I can't talk about it. I kind of know, but I can't talk about it.
okay.
But they had
We'll
a
wait.
really close game against Enigma Galaxy last year as well. I think they're where did they place last year? Let me just look it up real quick. They placed like third. Yeah.
Third. They were third. Vietnam
Yeah.
was second.
Kim was watching that game and she was like hugging her legs and like, oh my god, this is super close. So yeah, they might also improve because they have a really strong player, Kohaibi, and she plays on an insanely high sensitivity. But we saw her playing in the individual skill tournament showdown last weekend, and she was still really sharp. I have no idea how this girl does it, but it's gonna be exciting to see what they bring this year. I think things are definitely gonna shift. and change. And I hope everyone grows because there's going to be a lot more competition, right? We're gonna have to fight some NA girls. We're gonna have to fight some EMEA girls, and hopefully, G2 goes in. They had that thing with the winners interview, taking out the trash. I'm not sure if you guys saw that.
Oh yeah, yes,
Oh.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if SEA doesn't want to get taken out along with the other trash, we're gonna have to step up our game, I think.
Yeah, I will be agreeing with Quack here. Like, especially for Tarazal stepping out, things are really going to change, and at least for C. And of course, now that we're going to enter in a new scene, I'm also really expecting, of course, new female players to really shine. Last year was a really great representation of from FSL, and I really think that it inspired a lot of women to join the scene. Specifically now, if I'm not mistaken, Kim, like there were a lot of teams that entered, I think, for this year for the circuit this time.
19.
So yeah. So with that,
9. Yep.
yeah. See, so with that, like it really, this platform became really a huge inspiration to all those who really from the very beginning just really aspired to play competitively. And yeah, with just like that, I'm really looking forward to really commentating these new types of plays that is going to happen in the next few months.
Do I need to say something?
If you want, yeah.
Sorry, there's an awkward pause.
I'm so sorry.
Just giving you space if you want.
I think for me, I would just like to thank you guys for inviting us on the
Yeah.
show, and it's really nice to be able to share um, the happenings and the things in our region with someone across the world, and to learn more about you guys as well. But I think at the end of the day, we kind of need to remember that all of us are working towards the same goal, and that I hope that there will be more collaborations like this in the future, which will really help to sync up so that everyone's walking on the same path. Might be in different ways, but as long as the goal is the same, and hope that more people will be able to support women gamers, especially see more support from the pro gamers and be more vocal about it, and to share my thoughts that I feel like we are the pioneers in this movement, and remind everyone to not be too anxious to see results. So we might not be able to see women in champions by this year, next year, or even in the next 5 years. But I'm
Eventually.
confident that it will happen eventually, but it might not be so
Yeah.
soon. So as long as we continue on that path and do it one step at a time, I think we'll be fine. Yeah. Mm.
Well said.
Yeah,
Well,
that's all.
yeah, no, that was great. Thank you all again for taking the time. It was so informative to hear what's going on in your region.
Mhm.
So those of you watching, definitely check out FSL, their Twitter page, to see what's going on, and I'm sure you'll catch like all of these people in future Game Changers events over there. So definitely stay tuned on their Twitter page. So, with that being said, we're going to take a short break and then do our usual news recap. So, stay tuned and we'll be back. Welcome back to the Post Plant, and I hope you all enjoyed that Q&A from the SEA casters and admin like Quack, Xea, Kim. Thank you so much for speaking to us. It was so informative. And again, we're hoping to bring you more people like that from across the world so that we can learn a little bit more on what's going on in the Valorant scene overall. But now it's time for our usual segment of just what's been happening. And as usual, we're going to start in NA because that's what we know best. So the first thing, we had a tournament happen at the beginning of the week, kind of a Valentine's Day tournament. So it was called the Galentine's Tournament run by Super League. And Shopify Rebellion kind of took that very clean. Very clean.
Yeah, I actually think it's like interesting too because Complexity actually won Sakura, but then Complexity ranked 5th to 8th in this particular, tournament. So it's a little funny because a lot of the placements are very different from Sakura Cup. It's completely flipped upside down. So like seeing this, it kind of gives you like, a
like a
this kind of
relative
weird,
standard.
yeah, like anything can technically happen, but Shopify Rebellion didn't really plan Sakura Cup. So I mean, we don't know if they're reigning on top right now, and it could be anything.
Right. So how my thoughts with Sakura Cup, I don't think people were counting in Complexity because we just haven't seen them in a while. But when they were able to take a map off of Shopify, I was like, my ear kind of perked, and I was just like, because Shopify, we would argue, is probably like number 2 or at least top 3 at the moment. So the fact that they were able to take a map off them, I was like, they're in pretty good form. It's not too bad considering they haven't been in the game.
Yeah.
So I wasn't too surprised at the results that they at least made it into the finals. I was surprised they took the whole thing home though, because TSM have had the strangest luck with this tournament. So I looked back, and TSM has been in the finals literally every single Sakura Cup, and they've only won 1 out of 5. So that's like a ouch.
Yeah.
So just close enough, but unfortunately not able to clutch it out at the end. But I think it was the 3rd one they won. But yeah, they've lost it to either CLG, they lost it to Shopify the last 2 times, and then this time to Complexity. So it feels kind of like they're cursed for the Sakura Cup, but
yeah, the Sakura Cup curse,
yeah. But yeah, that grand finals, you casted it, right? With Spicy Pyro?
Yeah. We actually casted the finals game. Did we?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. I think we did. Yeah. My memory is so bad. Like I don't even remember half the time like what I'm casting, but we definitely did do the Complexity versus TSM game, and we were honestly caught by surprise. Like we were like, "Oh my gosh, like this is crazy." Cuz I believe it was Lacey that actually went to TSM for something. I don't know what it was, and it's like a kind of like a weird anime villain's arc or something, like when we're both your friends and then somebody turns against you. It was interesting. I don't know.
There's evidence. We have evidence. You
Guys,
casted finals.
My memory, it's back.
Betty getting receipts, and she's also very funny. So TSM is always the bridesmaid, but never the bride. That's pretty good saying for this. A couple of other teams who competed in this, Version X competed, and the biggest news out of that org was they hired a new coach, and not only was it a new coach, it was like a very fancy Uber like amazing coach. So Anders is one smart cookie, and he brought Virtuoso to like multiple like NSG finals and stuff like that, and then also coaching the strategic coach for Fnatic. So this dude is like big brain, like amazing. So the fact that V version X were able to get him is amazing. And so there's high hopes for this team. They
Yeah.
didn't perform too well though. It was like what, top 8 for?
I definitely did see a difference for sure though. Like
Mhm.
there was definitely a difference in gameplay because I remember watching VODs from like Miss Harvey's Invitational, and like there were a lot of holes in their gameplay, which is probably why, they definitely didn't do as good as they did like within Sakura Cup. But you could definitely see a lot of those holes were patched. Like they didn't really take a lot of those 1v1 fights that they might have before. They seemed a lot more coordinated and trustworthy. They trusted each other a little bit more. I liked it a lot seeing it in Sakura Cup. So they definitely improved, and I'm excited to see like from now on going with Anders, like how far can they go? Especially now that they're really tweaking every single mistake that they could have made before.
Yeah, they also, I don't know if this was before Anders came in or before or after, but
Mhm.
there was also a significant role change, it looked like, in the like duelists playing sentinels, sentinels playing initiators, that kind of thing. Like the players seem to be all mixed and matched around. So I don't know if that was a before Anders deal, but if it was because of him, then he's already hard at work
Yeah.
troubleshooting, getting data, and trying to figure out how to get this roster to win. Why does my camera keep freezing? Anyway, I'll I'll get over it. Let's see what else. Polaris also competed.
Yeah.
They were in the third place qualifier. They won. I should know because I casted that. They won third. They won third place against 24 Haven.
Mhm.
But then we heard some sad news via a tweet saying that if they're not signed soon, then they're gonna have to disband. I don't know how many of them would stick together, kind of after this disbanding, but yeah, it's just so hard being an unsigned team. Like
Yeah.
finances, no support, and it's
I
rough.
think it also sucks too, because like if you look at Polaris's VLR, the amount of W's like against like
Mm-hmm.
really good teams, like here for instance, we could say like there's Solaire, 24 Haven, Moon Raccoons, Version X, like there's a ton of teams that I've seen like Xea. It's like it's to the point where it's like why isn't I feel like they also feel a little bit betrayed because they've gotten a lot of attention. Like there hasn't been a day where I haven't seen like, signed Polaris or like, people genuinely trying to get orgs. And I think like there's like no attention. There is a ton of attention directed towards Polaris, but it's not like enough for some
No one's
reason.
fighting.
Yeah, like, and it sucks because this is a team that has like, imagine like if they can finally take time off work and really focus up on the game, and they're doing so good, even not putting as much time as maybe C9 is. Like, it's kind of insane.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that they're having to go through that. So hopefully an org signs them soon. Probably won't be 100 Thieves, but anyway, eh, we'll hopefully another org will sign them, one that knows what's going on. So, on that note, they are playing in Game Changers Academy, and Game Changers Academy is coming up this weekend, right? This 25th. I know what dates are.
Yeah, this
Yep, this weekend.
weekend.
So
That's exciting.
that is exciting. So Academy going on. They will be competing with. Did you catch any of the other teams that are
I actually have a
going to?
list.
Oh,
Have
wait,
it
are you allowed to
prepared,
leak said list?
ready to go. It is Team Kittens, Beckons Plus, Team Mystic Venus, Vengeance, Unbind Crouch, which is an
Oh,
OG
OG.
team. Yeah. Serendipity, NMG Celeste, Polaris, Perenity Serple. I'm guessing Serenity, but like different members of the team, like different people. There's Cheez-Its, Ascent White, Elysian, Aim Punch, which is like a team that has been trying to, climb up for a while. Dart Monkeys, which actually they did really good in
Oh, they did
Sakura
really
Cup.
well at Sakura Cup.
Yeah. Uh, EQ Scarlet and WE Warriors.
Okay. So, any predictions other than maybe for me, the ones I recognize are Polaris and Dart Monkeys. Like, I think
Yeah.
they might take the distance, but you have any thoughts about
I'm a little
that?
surprised 24 Haven isn't on here. They've been playing in it for so long, and
Well, they've kind of, graduated kind of from the
graduated from the
academy,
academy. Yeah,
kind
it
of.
sucks.
It's just they haven't announced the org yet because I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
Waiting for March.
I do think Polaris is going to take it because I mean, if you saw last Game Changers Academy, they actually took second. I know they actually won the last Game Changers Academy against
It
24
was against
Haven.
Chloe
Chloe
Gaming.
Gaming. It was Chloe
Yeah.
Gaming that they won against. And I mean, maybe it was because Chloe Gaming literally threw out a Yoru and said, "Here you go, like have fun." But I guess like you can compare and contrast the Sakura Cup where Polaris won against 24 Haven, so maybe it was fair game.
Okay. So definitely stay tuned for that this weekend. What else? So EMEA Huntress trials also occurred this past week. Still on my to-do list to watch, but I saw that 10-star Nova was able to take home the prize. So that's their third time winning in a row. The second time as 10-star, and the third time they were like gangster girls or something like that. So definitely keeping that reign going. I wonder what would have happened if they didn't bring Nello back. So they benched Nello for Game Changers. They didn't do so hot. So then they benched Rachel, and then now Nello is back. So we didn't see like G2 or Guild compete in the Huntress trials, so it's hard to match them relatively because those were the two finalists. But it's
Yeah.
good to see that they were at least back to their original form, that they were able to win Game Change or Huntress trials. Yeah. Any other thoughts on Huntress trials?
No. Pretty
Well,
good.
I do plan to do a watch party of the finals, maybe the semis, but definitely the finals later this week. So stay tuned for that. I'm trying to do a few, or I guess it's not a watch party at that point. It's more like a VOD review. But watch party sounds more fun, so we'll call it watch party. Okay, we already talked a ton about APAC, so that's coming to you this week. And Brazil is also starting up this week, the first set of the qualifiers. And let's see, as a kind of precursor to the qualifiers, they held their. I'm not 100% sure. So we're having a Brazilian caster come and talk to us next week. I will ask her also ask her 1,000 questions because this Spike Ladies tournament is also dubbed as a Game Changers Academy tournament, but then I'm not sure what the other one was called. Like, yeah. So just clarification on that would be amazing. So Gamelanders Purple, B4 Angels, and Stars Horizon Femme were invited to this tournament. And then the rest were just people who wanted to sign up. And you can see like the top 4 teams were the teams that were invited. So what is interesting though is that Gamelanders Purple, if you recall, previously Gamelanders Purple was like the roster to beat, and then they went into Team Liquid Purple. It's just time to go to sleep, right? Not Team Liquid Purple. Team Liquid Brazil.
Yeah.
And so Gamelanders Purple was looking for a roster. They signed actually they signed a unsigned team that was made up of signed players, similar to like Untapped. Oh, we forgot to talk about Untapped. We'll circle back to that. Similar to Untapped, it's a roster full of players who were signed before, and they took first place at this Spike Ladies thing. So they're doing good by their predecessors'
Yeah.
names, and could possibly take a few maps off of Team Liquid. So that's something to look forward to. I'm sure we'll hear a lot from the caster about that. What else? Oh, Untapped. Yes. They lost Anya, which is sad because
It is sad.
she was like, if you look at the stats, she was like top performer in like not just her team, but like the whole tournament. So I don't know what's up, but they said it was mutually
Yeah.
or a mutual parting and or a mutual agreement to part, and so I guess she's back on the free agent scene to look for another team, and Antap will continue competing as they're looking for a new fifth. So I don't know what's gonna happen with that team or Anya, but that's definitely hot news in EMEA. All right,
Yeah.
now I think we're done. Anything else? Any news I
We're
missed?
good
Any
now.
breaking news? Any?
I think we're pretty good. I think we're
Okay.
doing pretty good.
We're good. There's a lot going on per usual. So that was the recap for basically all of the regions for this past week. Next week, like I've alluded to, we're going to have a Brazilian caster on to talk about, similar to what we did today, just what's going on in what has gone on in the Brazilian scene and what happened, because by then we'll have had the results for the first qualifier.
Are we
And
having us as well?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, oops, my bad. Okay, no, strike that. That won't air until later. What we do have next
No,
week
the
is
spoilers.
true. What we do have next week during our normal airing time is an OG in the community, Nikki. So Nikki's one of the founders of Valorant, and so she's coming to kind of share her story behind that and kind of whatever she can tell us about this year without leaking too much. So stay tuned for that. And as per usual, if you have any suggestions or feedback or just anything you want to hear from us, or you want to come on, please feel free. We would love to have you, and uh, we'd be happy to share your story. And yeah, that's it for tonight.
It's pretty much
You good, Compers?
I'm great. I'm just sitting here.
You're just chilling. Cool. Okay. Well, thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for next week's episode. Have a good night, everyone.